Good morning. Today is Monday, April 28th, and I'm walking a couple fields this morning while it's wet, and we're waiting for stuff to dry up so we can do stuff. I'm sure in the area. I actually think that this field that I'm on right now, which hasn't been touched at all, was obviously corn last year. It would probably carry okay for a sprayer today. So there's probably some stuff being done, but for the most part, I mean, a lot of fields still have water standing in them. From what I've looked at this morning, anything that's had tillage and hydrous done on it is looks visually like it's sitting pretty wet from the road. I didn't walk in any of that because it's going to be muddy, but this is the kind of stuff I wanted to look at today. We've got a big flush of mare's tail here, big flush of foxtail. Of course, you've got your butter weeds, or what's commonly called around here, yellow rocket. A little bit of it's bolting and flowering, but really I don't think yellow rocket or butterweed's been too bad. It will come, but we've just got a big flush of mare's tail. I got a picture sent to me yesterday of some water hemp, and I haven't found any for myself, but I'm sure I will today. I keep walking. Other than that, standard winter annuals are out here and that kind of thing. A couple things I wanted to talk about this morning is, like I said at the start, today is Monday, April 28th, and it feels like we're getting late. I know that we've got to start getting some stuff done. We've got rain coming tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday. Our rain totals look crappy again, like it has most of the spring so far. But on the backside of that, I think after Thursday, I think we're going to turn a corner, and we're going to start getting warm. Hopefully get a little bit of wind, not too much so we can't spray. We're going to dry out, and it's going to be frickin' bonkers for a while. So my point here in this video is to give you a couple of my thoughts, but the biggest thing is to offer some encouragement. We are not that late. We're not so late that you need to start being stressed and worried and nervous, and most importantly, making some decisions that you might regret later this fall. If you look at a lot of the long-term forecasts, actually pretty much all of them, it looks like we're going to have a hot and dry summer. And the last thing we want to do, if that forecast does come to fruition, which is a big if, I grant you that, we don't want to mud anything in. We don't want to come out here when it's too wet, cause compaction, and really put those roots in a very poor position where they're struggling to get through compaction and get to water and nutrients like they want to. So we're not super late. We've got to start being efficient with our time once this weather breaks and we get a big window. We do have to be efficient and get some stuff done. I understand that 100%. But we also have to make some good decisions, okay? When you deal with a hot and dry summer and you have compaction from a wet spring like this, it just makes bad things worse. So at the end of the day, if you want as many bushels in your bin as possible, please exercise a little bit of patience. I know it feels late, but no matter what your neighbors are doing and no matter what other external pressures you're feeling, always make the best decisions for yourself. Think about the long term. Think about the bushels at the end of the year, what you want out of a crop, okay? Compaction is a major, major issue. And I'm sure we will see a lot of it this year. There's going to be a lot of impatience, and there's going to be some stuff we've got to deal with. But at any rate, beyond that, here's what I've got. Field like this, okay? Customer was going to want to come in here and do tillage and plant it. Not intended to do a burn down here. And of course, weather is not cooperating. So, in my opinion, that idea probably needs to come to a pretty quick stop of just coming in here and doing tillage and planting. Because, I mean, look at how big some of these mare's tail are. That's probably 8 inches tall. And if you come out here with tillage, most people don't run a true disc anymore. They're gonna come out here with an Insight or some sort of a turbo till, something a little bit more vertical than a disc. And we've dealt with this the past couple years, so I mean, you know what I'm gonna say is we do a lot more transplanting than we do killing. Well, I shouldn't say that. We do a fair bit of killing, but we do transplant a lot of these weeds that are well established and bigger. And those weeds are just really difficult to deal with the rest of the year. A lot of them will be buried by dirt. You're gonna come through with your first pass of herbicide. It's gonna be covered up and dirty. It's probably not gonna have very good coverage and it won't die then. And then 21 to 24 days later, when you come back with your post on beans, like this field's gonna be, those weeds are gonna be very well established, really big, and you're easily gonna have to, I mean, I actually think if, 20 gallons an acre, if you're running something like Liberty is where you should stop. There's been enough studies and data that have come out over the past couple years that show that going over 20 gallons an acre is not gaining you anything. Now you can do whatever you want, but in my opinion, 20 is really all you can do. Okay, you're not gonna do a lot more with more gallons. So my opinion is, before you come in here and you touch this with tillage, okay, you really need to try to think about how you can manage this with herbicide first. Again, in 10 days, a lot of these water hemp are gonna be over a foot tall, and it's gonna be a mess out here. So you're gonna have to think about what you're gonna run as well. I don't know that Roundup and 2,4-D is gonna do it anymore. So if we have favorable wind and you're not in a position where you have to worry too much, I mean, my recommendation would be Gramoxone, most likely, or something that's better than Roundup. Liberty would be another option, and you may have to heat it up a little bit. So oil or pre-emerge residual, something like that in it. But I personally don't believe coming out here with tillage equipment and thinking you're gonna disc this under and come back and plant it. I mean, you're gonna be okay, don't get me wrong, but I think that if you don't wanna fight weeds all summer, I really think that coming out here with a sprayer and killing this shit before you come through with tillage is by far the best option, okay? Other than that, I walked some wheat this morning, and for the most part, wheat looks good. However, if you have wheat that is sitting in wet situations at all, it looks pretty rough. That wheat's gonna struggle. I wish we could string together some freaking dry days with some wind to dry that out. I really think that the wheat would recover a fair amount, but where it's sitting wet, it just does not look very good. Now, if you've got good drainage and that's not an issue for you, which, that's probably over 90% of the wheat acres, right? Everybody knows wheat doesn't really love wet feet, so typically those acres don't get wheat. I think the wheat's it looks good right now. I saw some flag leaves coming out last week already. So we're moving right along there. All the nitrogen should be on wheat by this point. And now we're just looking for flag leaves and go from there. But anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about this morning. If you have a situation like this field where you were planning on coming in with tillage a month ago and knocking this down and getting it cleaned up, my personal opinion is that option probably needs to be reevaluated. If you have any opportunity to burn down before you get on here, I really feel like that's the best thing to do. Otherwise, we're just gonna be fighting established weeds all summer. And anyway, the other thing I talked about was patience. I know that that's a really hard thing to do, especially when people are going to start rolling really hard in 10 days. 12 days, whatever it is. Just think about, worry about your own lane, make your own decisions, and do what's best for your farm and your fields. I'm concerned about the drought this summer. It probably won't be as bad as what's in my mind and what I've been reading on and watching on forecast long term, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Even if we have a great summer with plenty of rain and mild temperatures, you don't want to come out here and cause compaction. You want roots to be able to explore. You've spent a lot of money on fertilizer. The last thing you want to do is mitigate root extension into the soil where you've put all those invested dollars in fertility. Give it the best chance to go get that water and that fertilizer so we can have a good crop. But, you know, on the other hand, we've got to get shit done. There's no question about it. If we want corn to be tasseling before it does get hot and dry, then we're going to have to go. But that's the other thing. I know a lot of people had the intentions of planting soybeans first this summer or this spring. My 2 cents is, no, don't do that. Unless you're on a farm that has 2 planters and you have the capability of running them both at the same time. Scared me. I really think corn needs to go in first now, okay? Beans, we can manage after that. But I really strongly feel like if you have the mindset of planting beans first yet, unless you have some ulterior motives to that, you know, you want to come back with wheat or canola or something along those lines, I really feel like we got to switch to corn, okay? All right, that's all. I'll let you know if I see anything else worth shooting a video on, but I'm just going to upload this to YouTube and send a link out to customers. If anybody else wants to share it, that's fine. But TikTok was not my thing. There were way too many people from way too many places that I don't care about commenting on videos and shit. So this is what I'm going to do this year. So that's all I've got for now. Have a good one.